Okay. Hey guys, and welcome to call number 2 for our nutrition call. I love doing these for our challenge groups because it forces us to have forced time to work on our nutrition. And let's be honest, if we're being really honest with ourselves, that's what challenge groups really are for. Is I typically don't find people struggle to make the time to work out because it's a very finite period. It's I start here, I end here. Hi Joelle. And so you start here and you end here with your workouts, whether it's that 20 minutes or 30 minutes or however long you're doing a workout, you can plan for it every single day. But when we start talking nutrition, and most people schedule their days around food, like I mean, life is scheduled around meals. And so then you're like, oh my God, and it becomes a bigger project in your head. And you're like, okay, crap. And and then all of a sudden there's like, oh, that's cool. I don't know how you did that. Anyway, so then all of a sudden you're like, oh, you're thinking of all of your lunches and all of your breakfasts and all of your snacks and all of your dinners. And it becomes too big of a project in your head that you are going to kind of start to shy away from it. And it's hard to conceptualize sometimes your nutrition when you're not forced to sit down and have some time to dedicate and think about it. And that's one of the reasons when we get started that we do these calls, because I want you to have a specific and dedicated time to look at your nutrition for the week. And just like everything else that we do, we plan for it. And most of you guys, we've talked about, do you have a calendar? How do you keep a calendar? You know, and I've got my Google Calendar. Well, that's my My Challenge Tracker app. I don't want you guys to think I'm a liar, but I've got my Google Calendar that everything goes on it. Everything, including my workout, which thanks to Caprice, I have managed to stay on track with every day this week. And so that's been fantastic time. But your workouts are the same. So you look at it, and I would even go so far as give yourself a reminder on your calendar, on your alarm clock. If you're struggling to eat on a regular basis, you know you should be eating. Just give yourself that little reminder. Just set a reminder of when you should be eating. But start putting things on your calendar. Start tracking it. Start having a plan. Just like everything else we talked about, your nutrition is no different. And so I'm going to be really, really honest with you guys. If you can't get your brain wrapped around your nutrition, and by getting your brain wrapped around it, I mean start having a plan. Start tracking if you're following the plan, because we can throw a plan up on the refrigerator and look at it and then walk right by it and totally go get and do something else. So the first part is even having the plan, like to take that step. And that's why we do these calls, so that you could sit down and like give yourself a dedicated time to have a plan. And then throughout the week, get yourself into a practice of tracking how closely you followed that plan. And life's going to happen. There's days that we've had to swap dinners, but I've gotten to the point that I will swap the dinner and not call the takeout. That's the key. Is some dinners take a little bit more time, and if my schedule goes crazy, just like it will for yours, because that's life, guys, your schedule's going to go crazy. Have meals that some are really, really easy, and if some are going to take a little bit longer, you know that you can plan for it. That's also why I gave on my meal planner. And I know it's not sexy. Like people are like, oh, it's going to be so cute. I'm not a cute person. I'm sorry. I'm a spreadsheet person. Life works for me that way. Y'all are laughing because most of you are spreadsheet people too. And that's cool. That's when you know you found your tribe. But that is why on that spreadsheet at the top there, and it says events, I want you to be looking at your week and planning where your obstacles are going to be at. If you are going to be out, and for like me, on Mondays, there are days that I have Mondays where I pick my kids up from one event, we go right to the next event, and we don't get home until 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. So do I want to be having a meal that's going to take 45 minutes to cook and prep and everything else? No, I need a meal that I can just pop in that's either I've already cooked it up or it's going to be instant. Like it's a 10-minute meal that I can have done and ready. That may not require any cooking. I have to plan that. You have to think about that and the obstacles that are going to be coming up during your week that you know about. It's the same thing towards the end of the week too. Does anybody else suffer from this? That come Thursday, you're tired AF, and the last thing you want to do is be thinking about dinner. You're just like, I just want to get to Friday. That's going to get me to Saturday. Like, that's all I want to do is to get to my weekend. And so coming in and having a really complicated dinner on Thursday is not maybe the smartest move to have on your plan. You can do it if Thursday you are just energized and ready to go, knock yourself out. Go for it. Have an elaborate meal on Thursday. But for most of us, Thursdays we're tired. Like, Thursday is just that day. We don't want to push play in the morning. We just want to get through the day. And we just want to get through our nutrition. And most of the time, I personally feel like I'm holding on by a string just to wake up on, like, to have the joy of waking up on Friday. That's my Thursday. That's how I view it. If you have a different day of the week that is like your nemesis, then identify it, recognize it, and plan for it. Does that make sense, you guys? Yeah. Obstacles. We have to overcome obstacles. And if we don't, and I will tell you this, if we don't, I spent 4 years on the containers and did an amazing job and followed my nutrition, got my results. I was looking back at pictures and I was like, oh my God, that's incredible. I spent the better part of 3/4 of a year fighting the nutrition plan, thinking I knew better, and not owning my nutrition. And I am now to the point I had yesterday where I posted a muffin top picture that I was super proud of because my pants finally zipped again. Like, so if you are going to, if you are not going to take the time to own your nutrition, you're not going to get the results that you want. You can work out all you want, and that's totally fine. That is an approach, but you're going to work out all you want. And I don't want you to have that frustration factor of not getting the results. It's not the program, it's the effort. And I don't want to be mean about this, but I want to be really real and really clear with you. You guys know I'm honest and upfront for everything that we do. And this piece of it is where almost everybody that comes into our challenge groups struggles with the most. So I just short of actually coming over and cooking the food in your house for you, I will do just about anything I can to help you learn how to fish for yourself and how to make that plan and how to fight for you and your nutrition. You are going to have obstacles left and right that are going to come at you. So you've got to fight for you on this. So we talked about making the plan last week. We looked at the meal planner itself. Did you guys this week, and if you say no, that's totally fine. You just have to be really honest with yourselves. Did you, in some form, whether it's with my meal plan or any other sort of meal plan that you might have or use, Beachbody's got a ton of them. There's a ton of them on Pinterest if you want to get all cute. Any of it. Did you guys make a meal plan this past week? Yes or no? Shake heads, no. There's no judging one way or the other. And when you say that, I want you to write that down. Yes, I made a meal plan. No, I did not make a meal plan this past week. Write it down. Write it down. I can tell if you're writing or not. You all are looking at me. Kate, hi. Good morning. All right, Joelle, yes, you did. And feel free to use the chat bar too. Like, if you don't have a pen and paper handy, there's a chat bar. It says chat at the bottom. If you're on your computer or on your phone, you can easily hit chat. And ask questions throughout this. This call is for you. I just keep talking until somebody interrupts me. Or until you all hang up. One of the two. But, okay, so with that said, yes, I made a meal plan. No, I did not. And you're looking at that yes or no. Now, the next question I want you guys to ask yourself, did I follow it? Let's be real. We like I said in the very beginning of this call, we can throw a meal plan up on the refrigerator and walk right on by it and ignore it. Did we follow it? Yes or no? And now you guys are sitting there looking at it. Did I follow it? If the answer is no, why didn't you follow it? And I want you to write that down. Just jot down a couple reasons. They're not excuses, they're reasons. You didn't follow it, yes or no. And from there, I want you, if you said yes, rock on. Why did you follow it? What was easy about it? What made it followable for you? Okay, so we followed it. We didn't follow it. Guess what's coming next? We're making a plan. So I want you guys to look now. If the obstacle was that yes, you followed it, great. Next week, how can you follow it again? How can you repeat that process? How can you repeat those actions? If you didn't follow it and you identify why, this is really this is getting into the mental of everything, and really, guys, you got to be really honest with yourselves when it comes to your nutrition. And if that's the case, I want you to get in, and if it didn't work for you, maybe a recipe took too long, maybe you didn't have the ingredients, maybe, you know, we had snow days, and so that just threw me all off, all kinds of crazy. Like, was it something that you could have controlled, or was it something that was uncontrollable to you, like an outside force happened that maybe you could have had a backup prepared for you? So it doesn't mean that you have to be cooking a meal every single day. What do you have on hand? Do you have the ingredients on hand? And this is going to get into a fun thing next that you guys are going to hate me for, but I did not bring it up in the very beginning for a reason. Well, you might not hate me for it. You might actually thank me for this one, because you might not realize this is a barrier. But anyway, so now we're getting into really the mental of meal planning for the next week, and really I want you to be thinking and asking yourselves these questions. I want you to be asking why, and I want you to get really curious. Get yourself really curious on your nutrition. Ask why. Don't beat yourself up. Give yourself grace, but you got to ask why so you can grow. If you guys are looking and you're not really sure if you followed your meal plan or not, or you didn't have a meal plan, or you just are still kind of struggling on where to get started at, if you're doing Transform 20, or if you're doing any nutrition program, because guys, every program has a nutrition program tied right to it so that it's all together. You can pull up on your on-demand, even if you don't have the hard copy like I do, you can pull up in the on-demand, and they all have some sort of tracker in there for you. And so what I would say is you get to be really honest with yourself. Beachbody doesn't ask for these. I don't ask for these. You can write down anything you want in here. Dear Diary, woo, you know, just short of having a lock on it. Be tracking what your food is for the week. How is it making you feel? Because there's a lot of emotion tied into food, and breaking that. The Transform 20 tracker is great, Joelle. And I'm going to show you guys I'm doing the Ultimate Portion Fix. I'm in the test group. I want to show you that tracker, because I thought I loved the Transform 20 tracker, which I do. I love the Ultimate Portion Fix tracker even more, and I'll tell you why. But don't tell anybody that I showed you this, okay? I should probably wait to post this to the internet. Anyway, so with that said, and getting to the tracking, so you guys just be really honest with the emotions that are tied to your nutrition. I just heard footsteps upstairs, so I don't know how long until we're interrupted. Be really honest with your nutrition and the emotions tied to it. Do you find yourself emotionally eating throughout the week because you got stressed? Or are you being mindful? I want you to enjoy that treat meal. I want you, somebody messaged me earlier this week about, they had tamales from their neighbor. And she goes, Chris, I finally see what you mean about being mindful in my nutrition, and what I was eating. I was fully aware of eating. It wasn't this mindless, just put it in your mouth because it's in front of you. And I did. I felt like shit afterwards, because I was looking to see how I felt and paid attention to it. And she felt like crap afterwards, but that was her trigger. She's like, I got it now. Like, I understand. And she had that breakthrough. I want you guys to have that breakthrough in being mindful as well in your nutrition. That's so important. And I think that's why nutrition call number 2 is my favorite, because number 1, we're going through the basics. We're getting people set up. I get so excited for people that get set up and to start them. But week number 2 is where we really get into what is nutrition? What does that mean to your life? Food ultimately is fuel. And it's fuel for your body to perform, and it affects everything else throughout the day. We tie a lot of emotion to it, a lot of enjoyment. I look forward to my pizza Fridays, right? There might be other things that we do, but it's when we get to that point that we are using food as a coping mechanism to handle stress, when we're using it as a reward for something good. Oh, I earned this, I deserve this. I had a great day at work, so I'm going to splurge. And how are you rewarding yourself when you're eating or drinking something that is completely undoing all of the progress and hard work that you've worked towards that week? And I will tell you, like, even with the treat meal, your treat meal is a controlled treat meal. It's not a free-for-all. It's not an entire day. It's one meal, and I want you to enjoy it, but recognize the fact that you can undo all of your work in one meal. Is it worth it? Is it really worth it to you? If you say yes, if you mindfully say yes, awesome. Good on you. You have made that choice, but you made that choice with knowledge in your mind and on your heart that you did that willingly. Nothing says that you have to do it. But if you're saying, no, I didn't, it kind of went out of control. It went off the rails on that. Just recognize that, because it's not worth it. It really isn't. I'm just going to get all judgy there for a second. But as long as you do it with mindful intent is the important part. So we talked about the treat meal, and this is what I'm going to bring up now. When we talk about the mindfulness, I want to know from you guys is, if you went off the rails this week, if you got all cheaty multiple times, you felt yourself grabbing for things that were readily available in the house. A lot of times people will, I always used to do this in the prep week in the very beginning, and it's called a pantry raid. And I always used to do it in the beginning, and people are like, whatever, I don't need to do a pantry raid. I do it in the second week now for the simple fact that I want you to look back and say, did I go off the rails? Did I cheat because I had the food available? Was the food in my house? If the food wasn't in your house, would you have eaten it? Would you have found something else to eat that might have been a healthier snack, right? So I want you to take a look at what's in your pantry, what's in your fridge, in your cupboards, hidden up in whatever shelf you have anywhere that you can reach for. Guys, if you want to eat a cookie, but go to the store and buy a cookie. Don't buy the whole bag. Go to Dunkin' Donuts and get a donut and enjoy a donut. Mindfully enjoy a donut, okay? You don't need to buy a dozen. You don't need to go and get the bag of donuts from the grocery store. And you certainly don't need to have them on hand for that temptation. So, does that make sense? So, I want you guys to take a look, and if it were your kids' snacks, your kids can go without the treats too, guys. Let's be real on this. I used to let my kids have dessert every single night because I thought they deserved it, and I was like, WTF? What am I doing? Why do my kids don't need a dessert every single night? A dessert is a treat. And I've got a question from Joelle, and hold on one second, because it's freezing. My chat's freezing. Okay. Okay. So my first question to you, Joelle, is if your family, this is a great question. What do you want to do if your family isn't ready for you to throw away the Oreos? Awesome question. You know what my question is? My question right back to you is, did you get into the Oreos? There isn't a definite, that head shake was not a yes or a no. I'm not sure what that was. If the answer is no, there's no problem having the Oreos in the house. If the answer is yes, get them something that they really want that is not a temptation to you. You know, so for me, Oreos, I'm like, oh my God, I love Oreos. But I don't really like peanut butter cookies, but they kill on peanut butter cookies, like those Nutter Butter things. They love those things. So you know what? When I'm going through and having to focus on my nutrition, doesn't mean I won't always have Oreos. I will never have Oreos in the house again. But when I'm focusing on my nutrition and I need to be like all in, like I am right now, guess what? They have to, such a rough life. They have to have Nutter Butters instead of Oreos. You know what? That's a sacrifice that they can make. You know, and so that's a balance. It's finding that balance. For me, so the Oreo sweets aren't always my thing, but my kids love Cheddar Jack Cheez-Its. It's like dangling, it's like salmon to a cat. I think cats like fish, right? It's like salmon to a cat. You put those Cheddar Jacks out and they're like asking for it for a snack every day. And I'm like, I feel like a junkie right now. Like I'm following it, you know, and can I be strong enough to say, is it worth it? And I had to all this week because we did have it in the house and I did not eat one single one of them because it was not worth it. Every single time I looked at it and I was like, I could just pop one in my mouth. And I'm like, nope, I'm committed to my nutrition this week. I sound like a zealot, but I know for a fact that if you commit for that 30 days, 45 days, of being as close to on point with your nutrition as possible, you're going to get better results and get to maintenance faster, which means maintenance is fun because you know what? I can have that Cheez-It. You know, you can have that Oreo and that's fine. But you just make that choice. Do you want to have that short-term giving it up, I guess, is that, or making another choice? Or do you want to just kind of prolong getting to your maintenance? I mean, that's a choice that you end up making. So does that help at all, finding the alternate? Okay, good. Oh, great. I love when I get head nods, like I nailed the question. And I'm going to do it again, you guys. Right, lick the lid. So we talked pantry raid, treat meal. We talked about the trackers. One of the things I'm going to ask you guys also is, did you do well with your workouts and committing to your schedule this week? I know Caprice is going to answer yes.
Yes.
Carolyn's answering yes. That's fantastic. And I know Holly had to step away for a second. So if you guys have committed to your workouts and you're doing great on them, keep it up. If you didn't, or like on days that maybe you weren't, maybe you do something else. If on your off days or anything else, and you are finding that you're not getting your workouts in, and that target is, depending on your program, if you're lift 4, you're only doing 4 days a week, and that's fine. And it's okay to supplement with additional other types of programs like stretch or Pilates or anything else during that. If you're doing Transform 20 and you're not hitting the 6 days a week, ask yourself why. Look at it, get curious. And then if for whatever reason, if 5:30 is your workout time, or it should be your workout time, hop on a Zoom call with us. I will tell you that it not only kept us on track with our time, it pushed us to better workouts. Because sometimes at home workouts, when you're like, I don't have to do one more, nobody's going to know if I did one more besides myself, and I'm okay with living with it. But I tell you what, when I look up at Caprice is still going, and I'm like, I got this. I can do one more push-up or one more curl, crunch, squat, whatever it might be. So guys, just jump on the 5:30 call with us and do your workout. You don't have to be doing Transform 20. Any workout works. And I will say, I got a question because somebody didn't want to get on because they thought they were going to get posted all over the internet, like when Caprice and I share our workouts and everything. And the answer is no. I ask first if I can take the picture, if everything is okay with me taking the picture, just like I'm going to do today. And if it is not, then you hop off, and there is no judgment there. Like, that is totally your preference. If you want to be private but I will tell you, and I will encourage you to talk about it more. And it's not just being a coach or being a zealot, but the more you talk about it, the more it seeps into your life, and more it becomes part of your life. Not all of your family is going to be supportive. Not all of your friends are going to be supportive, whatever. But the more you talk about it, you're talking about it for you. Like, I do a post, and every single time I do a post, I'm not looking to reach millions. I'm doing it because I know I'm going to reach that one person that needs to be speaking to. And that's important to me, and it's important for me to share that too. So I'm not saying that you have to, you can go out and post on social media all you want about how good it makes you feel, and that's great. But don't be embarrassed. I want you to know that you are inspiring other people every single time you put it out there, because I have learned in this business is that you never know who is watching and who you're inspiring and motivating. Are they all going to sign up to be on our team? No. And that's totally cool. But if it helped them make a better choice in the long run, because they could see that you or a group of you or anybody else is doing it, then you guys, we're making a difference in the world. And that's really, really important. And we don't realize the magnitude of our impact when we do that. So anyway, but just don't be scared to get on a Zoom call with us and do whatever your workout is, because that's fun. And before I turn it over to you guys for questions, the last 2 things is I have a Google form that I will put in the comments for today, and that will be in tomorrow's post as well, to just kind of recap your week. I think it's like 5 questions. It's super short, easy for you guys to do, but it's just kind of some trigger questions for you to say about your workout, about your nutrition, and ask yourselves that question, so then you can take it going forward. But it helps me track it, because I have a little tracker for you guys to make sure that you're staying on track too, and asking those questions, okay? And it also gives you a chance, if you're struggling in any area and you're not on this call, that you can tell me that, so that we can have a discussion on that, because it's your journey. I'm here to help and support and cheer you on and be like the glorified cheerleader, but it's your journey. So just help me help you stay on that road and on that path for your success. Last, I posted on Friday, yesterday. My friend Jen, who is a dietitian, is going to get on this call with us, get on our third call. And our third call is not going to be a Saturday morning because she's not available. And I just want to say I am so excited to have her on because she's going to talk about hidden sugars, how to like kind of read labels and get smart on that, because there's so many things. I wasn't realizing like how much sugar I'm giving my kids just on the excess of milk that they're drinking. Not that it's necessarily a bad thing, but like that was one of those like hidden sugar things that I wasn't thinking about. And so she does a great job of, well, I mean, she's a dietitian, so she shares this. And so she recently left clinical work and does it all out of her home now too. She's not Beachbody, she's not part of our team, but she is really smart and knowledgeable on all this. So I'm excited to have her on the call. And I just ask that everybody has said, oh, Monday or Tuesday works fine. It's probably going to be Monday. I just ask that you show up, because there's nothing more embarrassing than having a guest person on and to an empty screen. And so if you say you're going to be there, please be there. Please don't make this one of those, like, I'll catch the recording. It's just really important to really utilize her time well. So there, that is, how are we on time? Fantastic. We are spot on. That leaves plenty of time for you guys for questions. Does anybody have a highlight that they want to share? It's open for highlights, for struggles, for just anything that you're feeling about your group right now. And you just have to unmute yourselves. I think most of you are muted right now. You can unmute yourself, or you can go on the chat and type something too. And we're going to have that awkward silence till the first person wants to talk.
No, Joel just woke up and
hey, Joel,
mixing his drink, and I said, do you want to say hi to Chris? And he goes, no. And walked off. So
he's like, she's got too much energy this early in the morning.
Well, you know it. I'm drinking my shake.
Woo, woo, me too. We were laughing because I've got this little thing right here, this little lip that makes sure it stays closed. And I always lick it. I'm dedicated. I don't want to miss any of it. But the kids.
No, I do too. I hear.
Yes. Yep.
But I try to do it when people
drawing.
Like, I try to do like not around my family, because then they'll be like, Mom, and I'm like, nah.
I know, right? But the funny part about that, so the boys always love drinking my shake too. And they always try, I was telling them this earlier, is that they try to lie to me and tell me that they didn't get my shake, and they don't lick it. So then they've got the little thing on their nose, and I'm like, it's not good to lie. And they're just like, Mommy, how do you know these things? You're so smart. And I was like,
Yeah, eyes in the back of my head.
Right. Please don't ever figure out like my tricks. So, okay. So anyway, Joel didn't want to talk to us. That's totally fine. But does anybody else a victory or a struggle or just anything that you want to share about the group and how you're feeling? Like something you want to see?
Okay. I was excited because I stayed on nutrition on point all week. First week, nothing. And I tell you what, have you guys ever made apple nachos? No. Holy crap, like best thing ever. Totally curbs any sweet cravings.
So you're going to share that.
Take your apple and cut it up, melt a teaspoon of peanut butter, and then I do the mini chocolate chips, the real tiny ones, with some almond slivers. Holy crap.
You could upload that in the files section for recipes, because that sounds amazing.
Yeah, Em just tried mine last night, and she looked at me. I think I put it on my Instagram story. She's like, can you make me my own? She loves them.
Winning. So when your teenage daughter will go for them too, that's so totally winning. That's awesome. Apple nachos, good share.
Oh, yeah, every week it's on for my snack every week.
Yeah, it's oh my gosh, where did you find it at? Who cares where you found it? You get to take credit for it and just share it in the files. Like I need that recipe in my life.
It's so good.
Yeah, that sounds great. And something that the boys would eat too. Because the boys, we have went through so I buy 7 apples at a time, and we've gone through 3 or 4 batches. Honeycrisp, we eat the Honeycrisp because of course they have to, it's the expensive ones, but we've gone through I think 4 batches in the last 2 weeks of 7 apples. So that's 28 apples, and they love the chocolate hummus with it. They just think it's chocolate dip, and they don't realize that it's chickpea based. Like they don't even, and they just get a tablespoon of that and half an apple, and they're just killing it. And honestly, it hits my sweet tooth craving too. But my mouth is actually watering at the thought of yours. Like
it's good, and it's still, you can still keep it on plan, because I use a half a banana in my shake every morning, but I never, it's like I don't eat the other fruit because I'm at work or I don't take it with me. So I eat it after dinner when everybody else wants those little late night snacks, and that's my dessert, and it has been every day all week.
That's
that
awesome.
was my dessert every day.
Oh, way to reward yourself! Like, just what a smart reward for yourself. And I see Connor too. I see Connor Bug. Hey, buddy.
I had you muted. Okay.
What's up, Connor? Hi. Hi. Awesome. Okay. So great share. Can't wait to see that in the group in the files section. Hint, hint. Anybody else? You got shares? We can wrap this up.
Well, mine getting a share, but like mine's a question for the group. Because I struggle with this. Like, how many times a week do people go to the grocery store? Because like I have great intentions, and I'll go on Sunday and we'll spend like $400. But then I saw that look, Chris. Yeah, because never mind. I like to shop at Wegmans.
Okay, it's not just food, you guys, that she's buying. I've been shopping with her, so.
Well, but I know it's ridiculous. But I buy for the whole week because I don't have time during the week. And then what winds up happening is like by like Wednesday, like the plan will fall apart, and then by Saturday I'm throwing away actually, I throw it out back in the wood line to feed, quote, my friends. So then I wind up throwing away all those fresh fruits and vegetables because we just never got to them. So I guess ideally, like I should go to the grocery store like maybe 3 times a week, but I don't know how I would do that. So that's like my question for the group. Like, how do you balance that? Like, how do you like eat healthy all week and then break up like going to the grocery store or like how many times do you go, Chris? Like I should know that.
Anybody else want to start this? I'll answer.
I only go once, but my meal plan is pretty simple. Like I go Saturday morning or early Sunday, and then I prep everything Sunday afternoon. So like I pre-cook all my chicken for the week and I put it in the fridge so it's already done and it won't go bad. But I'm only cooking I have 4 people in the house, so I don't know.
And you also have your 4 people are pretty much adults. Like, so you've got a teenager. Yeah.
Yep.
Your father-in-law, and then you and Jay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Who else? Carolyn, how do you guys do it?
Get stuff that takes as little prep as possible. Try the shaved Brussels sprouts. That was super quick. Heat up a pan, saute them, done. I have shaved Brussels sprouts for meals ready to go for the week. For fruit, I call it fruit for work, something that I can just grab, stick in a bag, and go. So that's what I try. And hard-boiled eggs every weekend.
Caprice, how many times a week do you go?
I only go once, but I mean, I'm cooking for one. So I may go, if I know that I'm going to be doing recipes near the end of the week with fresh vegetables, I may go a second time just to pick up 1 or 2 things, but typically just once.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. So if you're finding yourself throwing things away at the end of the week so you're not using them, then maybe a solution for you is to get the meats and to get the meats ready, and then the vegetables that you need for the first couple meals of the week, the first half of the week, to make sure that you're staying on track with that, or to be able to make up something like the shaved Brussels sprouts or whatever it is that you might like ahead of time so that you can just have it already heated up and ready to go. But we do one big one. Whoa, fox just ran through our backyard. That's kind of cool. Squirrel. Not a squirrel. Fox. But we will go once. We do one big one a week, and then we will typically go. We were in Germany a really long time, so we did not have big refrigerators. You couldn't pull for the week, so we still do like some of those vegetables that just don't stay fresh by the end of the week. Like a lot of times your peppers start getting soggy, your zucchinis, stuff like that. And we will go and grab that like a quick, is it the Whole Foods? A lot of times we'll go to Whole Foods. Wegmans, where I know Kate likes to shop, is way far on the other side. Like it's far away from us, that it's not a convenience. So I'll do my major stuff where we like at our big, either our Costco or a Whole Foods. And then we've got a giant, our giant close to us, Kate, if you're not finding good produce there, tell the produce manager that their stuff is starting to suck. And they are on it. They've asked me more than once because they know I'm in there all the time. And when I first came in and they were trying to put a focus and an effort on it, I told them, I'm like, I don't buy produce here because your produce sucks. I shouldn't have to go through 15 avocados that are just moldy and mushy. So they've gotten a lot better on their produce. So, or on their fresh vegetables and stuff. So maybe on Wednesday, you can look and take a litmus check of where you're at and grab your just pick up a couple more vegetables for a couple meals. So you can do a balance of making stuff up on Saturday and Sunday, and then middle of the week, you check where you're at again, so that you're not, I mean, we don't want to waste money on our food, even if you are feeding your friends out back. Does that help?
Have you tried to freeze anything? Like sometimes I'll freeze my peppers because I know they're going to go bad, and I don't want to waste the money because I am buying for 4 adults. So I will, if I know I'm not going to use them to the end of the week. Like I have some that I bought last week that I ended up not using in my salads. I'll freeze them today and use them next week. I don't know if you have room.
That's and so that's another fun one that we won't get on for the third call, since we're going to have Jen on for it. Different options and ways to meal prep, and one of them is freezer meals. So you can take an hour and make up a whole bunch of, I'll share a whole bunch of the recipes. I'll put them in the file section of the group, but you can take and make up some really good meals that you enjoy and freeze them. And you can pull them out in the morning before you leave for work, and dinner's pretty much ready for you when you get home. And that could be another way that you can cut down on wasting the food, because then you'll have it ready. And they stay for months. Like you can put them in the freezers for a couple months, and they're really, really handy.
I actually do that a lot with the freezer meals. And I'll take recipes and I'll break them in half because they're typically for families. But I'm all about that. Just I'll spend a day and do maybe 10 freezer meals, and then I'm good for 3 months on having dinners that I can just pull out and cook.
And I will, the last thing, because this is another thing that we're not going to get to on the third week, but I will address it in a post next week, is, guys, people are like, I don't want to make different meals when I'm for my family and what they're eating, and I'm not a short order cook and I don't have time for this and stuff. But in the very, very beginning, a lot of times you have to have the meal for yourself. Like you just have to eat something different, because if you want different, you have to do different. The kids in the family eventually will eventually come around, and they will either start eating with you, or they will just respect the fact that that's what you're eating, but they're always seeing you making that healthy choice for you, and you need to do that. And that I think is one of the other hard things besides focusing on the nutrition is that divide in the family. And I'm getting some nods here, so it's not, I'm speaking truth, but you have to make that choice for yourself. And it pays off in spades when your kids see you making that choice for you. It will pay off in spades. So, okay. Got anything else? I love the questions. You guys were great. And shares. Okay. I know Joelle had to get off because she had something to get to this morning. Is anybody uncomfortable if I were to take a picture and post it in my stories? Are you okay with that? If you are not okay with that, there is absolutely no judgment. Hop off the call now. I thank you for your time, but I'm gonna go ahead and take a picture if you don't want to. So you better get your smile, and like if you need to get your hair did.
Oh yeah, I gotta fix my hair, Chris.
Get your hair did. I love it. All right, so look like you like being here and learning about nutrition. Look up, Holly. Awesome. Okay, I will share it for anybody that wants it, just so that you can have that memory of you're not alone. Nobody's ever alone in the group. Don't ever think you are. That's why these groups are here. But I also know we're busy, and I've got to get us finished packing, and we are headed to Philly this weekend. Okay?